Hey, welcome. It's Gokaner again, and we are here from the sunny Arizona, Phoenix, and I'm with Joel. Joel, yeah, introduce yourself. I'm pretty sure already everybody knows you, but still, just introduce yourself.
You're very fine. Very nice, Gokhan. I'm Joel Oleson. I like to travel. I like to talk technology, especially this next-gen stuff, some exciting stuff coming up. Been working with SharePoint for a long time. You could say I was the first SharePoint admin.
Wow, you're my hero, right? That's so cool. That's so cool. So you live in the US, San Diego, I'm not wrong?
Yeah, I live right in the San Diego area.
Oh, that's so
Oceanside.
Cool. Wow, that's so cool.
In fact, you should come visit me and we'll go out to the Oceanside Pier.
Well, we are talking with Vlad and we are hoping to come to SharePoint Saturday to San Diego, and we'll definitely visit San Diego.
Excellent.
So I have a few questions for you about Office 365. And if you don't mind, I'll just shoot the first question so people can Okay. So the new era of Office 365 and SharePoint guys are always talking about collaboration. How do you see the evolution of collaboration? So we had SharePoint server, we got Yammer, now we got Office 365 and the whole toolkit inside Office 365. So what's your thought about it? What do you think about?
I think there's a few analogies I have in my head. One of them is it feels like there's a horse race going on. Microsoft is known to have multiple horses in the same horse race. The other thing is we've got Teams versus Slack horse race that's going on. There's a horse race with the G Suite and the O365 suite from that perspective. There's also the cloud race with Azure versus AWS, and what you can do with apps and what you can do with the cloud, and the Google Cloud versus the Amazon Cloud versus the, all these kind of races. When you start talking about collaboration though, it's a different kind of conversation, because it almost seems like Microsoft has multiple horses in this horse race.
Yeah.
We've got Teams, we've got Yammer, we've got Office 365 Groups, we've got, did I say SharePoint? We've got, yeah, it seems like there's lots of things going on. Yeah. And, I did some research even this morning about top SaaS apps. Basically Office 365 is doing very well in that horse race against its competitors.
Absolutely.
Within the family, I haven't felt better about Office 365 than I do today.
Okay.
I'm very excited about where we're going. I also understand people's confusion. In fact, the session I'm doing these days, one of the ones I'm traveling on, is it's kind of like lions and tigers and bears. Oh my! I have a SharePoint, Office 365 Groups, and Teams, and Yammer. Oh my! Session that I do.
So it's interesting what you said. Like there is a confusion.
Yeah.
Like we have different toolkits into Office 365 Groups, Yammer, Teams, SharePoint. Even what I'm using with Patrick, if he's listening to us, like Wunderlist. Like, just putting tasks in Wunderlist and we collaborate for SharePoint today, Paris and Monaco with Wunderlist, with this simple tool, and we're using this for collaboration. When should people actually say, like, okay, Office 365 is there for, Teams is there for, and SharePoint is there for? Is there any magical quadrant or magical stuff that we can just provide to people, or is every tool depending on business needs or requirements?
I like to, I'll differ with Christian Buckley and Ben on this one. Okay. I don't think this is different generations use different tools. I think that's way too confusing. I also don't like the idea that, it depends on who's old and young, or, and I'm not saying that that's kind of how they're saying it, but the idea that, ultimately it does come down to the team. Yeah. The team has to decide what works for them. And so I like this approach of fail fast. You basically, let's approach it. What works for our team? Some teams are going to want to live in Jira. Some teams are going to want to live in VSTS if they're dev teams. Absolutely. We're talking.
Absolutely.
Some teams are going to be like, we use Twilio. So basically, pick your tools of how your team gets work done. But ultimately, what I'd like to see us adopt these next generation Microsoft tools and be using Teams for our teams. I think that there's so much goodness in that, and I think that it's very easy for SharePoint people to use that.
Yeah.
But when you've got your SharePoint people pushing a very structured list and saying, thou shalt put your documents here and tag them like this, we've got to loosen up on some of that and say, you know what, let's put the right kind of structures in place so we're not forcing SharePoint down people's throats anymore. And I think Teams is a great way to encourage adoption on things that are easy to use, these kind of chat-based workspaces that go more toward the dream of a digital dashboard that's very productive for teams.
Wow. And Teams is GA since yesterday.
GA'd yesterday,
Yeah, that's
and
so cool.
And the integration with SharePoint's fabulous. So even if you're a SharePoint guy, you should get excited about Teams, because it's going to increase adoption of SharePoint.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's where your files go.
That's so true. So when talking about Teams, can we say that Teams is becoming the primary collaboration tool into Office 365? Because it has been built on top of the groups. So can we say today, like, okay, if you use Teams, you are basically using groups, SharePoint, OneDrive, etc. all behind. Is this a correct statement or absolutely not?
Yes. So here's me going out on a limb a little bit. I don't think we're going to be talking about groups in a year.
Oh, that's a...
That is a bit of a statement. I think that we should stop talking about groups. Groups is a construct. It's a security thing.
Okay.
We talk about it because it's a different way of approaching technology. But end users aren't going to be thinking about groups. They're going to be thinking about Teams, because Teams is actually what they're provisioning.
Wow.
We talk about what you provision. We don't talk about the set of things and say that's a group, because that just confuses people. We need to stop talking about groups, and we need to start talking about, is it, I think Teams is the entryway. It's the gateway drug of Office 365 now, because people are going to see, look at this productivity tool. Look how easy it is to use. Now, you don't have to get confused about SharePoint and those other things, but at any time you can say, I want to open up Planner. I want to open up Power BI. I want to open up, open this document in SharePoint. You get those contexts. You can go deeper, but you can also stay right on the surface, do your little lightweight collaboration, get in, get out, and done.
Absolutely true. Yeah. Yeah, Teams is so cool
Teams is
too.
powerful.
I have few things about Teams, like a channel cannot be private. That's something.
You know what? It can. Let me tell you it this way. A team is what is defined as a team, and it is private. Basically, the only people in there are that team.
Yeah, but if I want to have a conversation with you in private into a team, that's
a private conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's called a chat.
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying that there is no
and
private
you can have group
channel.
chats.
Yeah, definitely.
We don't need private channels, because here's why. If we're having a one-on-one, guess what automatically happens? We get tabs between the two of us where we can share files.
Yeah.
We can even add a Power BI chart to that. Yeah. So we can add additional tabs. They may not be super rich, but for the most part, if it is super rich, we probably should create a team.
And secondly, I would love to have external sharing, which will probably come.
Not even probably. It's coming.
Yeah,
they've already told us it's coming.
So
Naomi actually shared the dates in her session.
Yeah, that's so cool. And when are the dates? Can you just share them? Remember that?
It was May or June.
Oh, okay, that's so
Let's just say that. The next couple of months they'll be there.
Okay, that's so cool.
They roll across tenants anyway, so even if it did come in May, it'd probably be June anyway.
I have still two questions here. I made a poll before getting you on board. And yeah, I have people are saying it's the services era now. We are stopping to a server to server relation. You have to install SharePoint, Exchange, Skype, you have to apply patches. It's all done. It's a service that you have to consume now. There is something running somewhere and you have to use it. When you look to Office 365, you only have one URL, one password, one authentication model. You get into Office 365 and you can use anything you want. Mm-hmm. Is this statement true that IT is evolving from a server to a human relationship? I'm just consuming a service from the cloud.
I think there's a lot of federation happening. There's a lot of, if we look at it from a cloud perspective, we have infrastructure as a service. IT provides that function. We have software as a service. I don't think IT's there yet. I think that when I was in IT and trying to build, I was trying to run my software like software as a service. You come to me, these are the sockets. These are the services I offer. and here's how these services should be consumed. So I think that IT does need to think about themselves from a cloud perspective as well, of this is software as a service, these are the edges of the service, here's how you can recommend we make changes to this service. Because flexibility does have to happen in IT, but you also need to find where the edges are. Absolutely. Otherwise things will get out of control.
Definitely. And the last question I have here from the French community is like, Microsoft always said mobile first, cloud first. So apps are becoming extremely important. Like if you check on an iPhone, a Samsung phone, like you have a lot of apps. Even only Office 365 has like 20 apps, maybe more than 20 apps into your iPhone. And sometimes getting information from apps, or even when you're using on a web-based edition, like from your browser, getting information is so difficult. And I know some third-party tools like Harmon.ie, they're helping us. Like when you install the tool, you can just get the data. But even if we don't use Harmon.ie, is there any way where we can just get data from one screen? I know Microsoft is pushing having on Teams, like we have a page where you can get all the data.
Let me give you some updates, because I think some of your data is a little bit dated. You must download Word, Excel, PowerPoint. Must. That's required. You have to have those on your environment. You know, you got to get those basic. You know, I don't care if you install Sway or not.
Okay.
I don't care if you install Office 365 Admin or not.
Okay.
Office Lens, yes. OneDrive, must. Must. Teams,
clear statement.
If you're using Teams at all, must.
Okay.
Okay, those are the must-haves. There's a lot of bonus stuff. But if you're looking for good experience from a Microsoft perspective, you know, sure, there's some third parties out there. But if you've got those basics, Office is on there, just like you install Office on a machine. You install those Office apps.
Okay.
Your interface to using Office is OneDrive and Teams.
Definitely true.
That's it. That's it, 2 apps. That's all you have to care about. OneDrive and Teams.
And the Groups app?
And SharePoint as well. But actually, I still think the Teams is, let's say those 3.
Okay.
SharePoint, Teams, and OneDrive.
Are the basics.
Because guess what? They will open up PowerPoint, they will open up Excel, they will open up Word.
Okay.
And Office Lens will open up Word, and so on. So basically those apps will act as a family. So if you're missing anybody in the family, you're going to have a bit of a jarring experience. But even today, I just tested this like this week. Browse to portal.office.com. Okay, do this.
I will try it.
Log in.
Okay.
And you've got a new mobile experience. It's actually not as bad as it was. They've done a ton of work here.
Wow.
You click on a document. Guess what? It'll open up in Word. It'll open up in Excel. It'll open up in PowerPoint. You just got to have the family there to support you.
So basically 4 apps, and we are basically okay.
Office plus the big 3.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's so cool. Well, thank you for all your insights, Joel.
Sure.
I appreciate that. I had 4 or 5 questions. I hope you'll enjoy all the questions and response from Joel. Well, I wish you a great stay in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to GoCon.
And American style. Thank you.
Yeah. Good stuff.